One of the first things I noticed when things started to settle wasn't peace. It was awareness. I started seeing the moment where a thought would appear, and how quickly I used to follow it. Not because it was important, but because it felt unfinished, like something needed to be resolved. Overthinking doesn't always feel like anxiety. Sometimes it feels like responsibility. Like if you don't think it through, something bad will happen, or something will be missed. So the mind chases the thought, expands it, tries to land it somewhere solid. But what I'm learning is that not every thought is asking for an answer. Some thoughts are just noise passing through a system that used to be overstimulated. They don't need resolution, they need space. The uncomfortable part is noticing the urge to finish the thought and choosing not to, letting it remain open, letting it feel unresolved. That used to feel wrong to me, like I was being careless, like I was avoiding something important. But avoidance feels frantic. This feels different. This feels like choosing not to engage. The thought still shows up. The urge to chase it still appears. But now there's a pause. A moment where I can see the pattern instead of becoming it. And sometimes I walk away from the thought without finishing it. Not because I'm suppressing it, but because I don't need to solve it to be okay right now. That's new. Sitting in the unfinished space can feel uncomfortable. The mind doesn't like loose ends. But peace doesn't require closure in every moment. It requires discernment. Knowing which thoughts matters and which ones are just habits. I'm learning that clarity doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from stepping back, from letting the nervous system stay calm while the mind does less. Some thoughts resolve themselves when they're not fed. Others fade when you stop treating them like emergencies. This isn't about control, it's about restraint and trust. Trusting that I don't need to follow every mental impulse to stay safe, that I can let a thought pass and remain intact, whole, grounded. This is what integration feels like. Not silence, not enlightenment, just space. Space between the thought and the reaction, and the choice to not answer everything that tries to pull me away from the present. This is part of the quiet work, staying here even when the mind wants to wander. One of the clearest signs that something has shifted isn't peace. It's restraint. I started noticing how often my mind wants to argue, not with people, but with itself. Replaying conversations, correcting things that already happened, proving a point to no one, winning an argument that doesn't exist in the present moment. For a long time, I didn't realize how much energy these mental arguments were taking. They felt automatic, necessary, like preparation, like protection. But most of them weren't solving anything. They were just keeping the nervous system activated, ready, tense. What changed wasn't that the arguments stopped showing up. What changed was noticing the moment I got invited into them. The first thought, the hook, the urge to respond internally, and instead of following it, I started walking away. Not dramatically, not forcefully, just not engaging. At first that felt wrong, like I was letting something slide, like I was being passive, like I was losing ground. But nothing bad happened. The argument kept going, without me. And then it faded. That's when I realized how many of these mental debates only exist because I participate in them. Walking away isn't avoidance, it's discernment. It's recognizing that not every internal conflict deserves your attention. Some thoughts want engagement the same way a fire wants oxygen. You don't put it out by fighting it. You put it out by not feeding it. This doesn't mean becoming numb, or indifferent, or detached from reality. It means staying grounded instead of reactive. The body notices the difference. Less tension, fewer spikes, more space. And over time, the mind learns something new, that it doesn't have to defend you constantly, that you're safe enough to let things pass. Not every thought is a threat. Not every disagreement needs resolution. Not every argument deserves a response, even internally. Walking away from the mental argument doesn't mean you lost. It means you chose peace over proving a point. And that choice doesn't announce itself. It just leaves you calmer than before. More present, less drained. This is part of the quiet work. Knowing when to engage. And knowing when to walk away without explanation. For a long time, awareness meant action. If I noticed something, I felt like I had to do something about it. Adjust it, fix it, think it through. Awareness was never neutral. It was a signal to intervene, to step in before things got worse. But lately, I've been learning something quieter. You can be aware without stepping in. You can notice a thought without correcting it. You can feel an emotion without managing it. And the moment you don't intervene, something interesting happens. The system relaxes, not because the problem is solved, but because nothing is being demanded. Intervention kept me busy. It made me feel responsible. It gave the mind a role to play. But it also kept the nervous system from ever standing down. Being aware without intervening feels unfamiliar at first, like watching something without reaching for it. The urge to step in still shows up. The reflex to fix, to redirect, to narrate, it's still there. But now there's a pause, a moment where I can see the impulse without obeying it. And when I don't step in, most things resolve on their own. Thoughts rise, they peak, they fade. Emotions move through without becoming identities. Sensations shift without turning into stories. This isn't detachment, it's trust. Trusting the system to regulate itself without constant supervision. Awareness doesn't need to be active to be effective. Sometimes its only job is to stay present, to witness, to allow. The hardest part is letting things be unfinished, letting discomfort exist without tightening around it, letting the mind wander without pulling it back. But this is where integration happens. Not in effort, but in restraint. Not in control, but in space. Being aware without intervening teaches the nervous system that it doesn't need constant guidance, that it can handle movement, fluctuation, and uncertainty without collapsing. And slowly, awareness becomes lighter, less intense, less loaded. Just presence without urgency. This is what it feels like to stop managing yourself, to stop monitoring every internal shift, to let life move without commentary. This is part of the quiet work. Staying aware and choosing not to interfere when nothing actually needs fixing.